every one of you for having me in this program, especially to the organizers of the program and to the chief of the community. Thank you so much for having me. This is not a right, it is a privilege to be here. So today, I will be speaking on the topic that is titled Time Conversion and Human Capacity Development. Time Conversion and Human Capacity Development. Now, why is this topic important? It is so important because the greatest asset that any nation or any community has is the people of that community or that nation. I would repeat, the greatest asset that any community or any nation has is the people that make up that community. And that is why we need to talk about human capacity development. It doesn't matter what natural resources a community has or a nation has. If the people of that nation or that community are not developed in their mind, if they are not developed in their skills, such a nation or community would be a poor community, and that community would be a backward community, and that community would depend on other communities that do not even have as much natural resources as they have. So the greatest asset that any nation has, I repeat, are the people of that nation or that community. So what is capacity development? Or what is human capacity development? Human capacity development, or what we call capacity building, is defined as the process of developing and strengthening the skills, the instincts, the abilities and the potential, and then the processes and resources that organizations and communities need to survive, adapt, and thrive in a fast-changing world. Now, I want you to pay attention to this definition of capacity building, because everything we will discuss today will be based on this definition. So from this definition, we see that capacity building is simply the process of developing and strengthening the skills of the citizens of a community or of a nation. Capacity building is strengthening or improving the instincts and the potential and ability of the citizens of any nation or any community. A few years ago, Bill Gates visited Nigeria and he gave a speech, and in that speech he said something. He said that Nigeria as a nation has not done very well when it comes to developing human capital. When it comes to building people and developing people, we have not done very well. And he said that until we pay more attention to human capital development than infrastructural development, we are not yet ready to become a great nation. And the same thing I would say today. Until a community pays attention or lays importance on the human capital development, or until a community emphasizes human development more than infrastructural development, that community is not yet ready to become a great and a successful community. Now, why did I say that? I'm saying that because if you have infrastructures, which of course are very important, we need those infrastructures in our communities. We need the natural resources in our communities. But if we don't develop the people, the indigents and the citizens of that community, all those infrastructures are useless. All the natural resources are useless. And I'll tell you why I said so. If you look at our country today, you would realize that when we want to construct railways, for example, we need to depend on Chinese people to come to our country to construct railways for us. When we want to, distill our petroleum products, we want to refine our, crude oil, we send those crude oil to other countries, to the United States, and to some other countries to refine our natural resources for us. Why are we doing that? The reason is simply because we have not built capacity in our citizens. We have not built, our intellect and our skills. We have not developed ourselves enough to be able to refine our own products by ourselves. So we are at the mercy of Americans, we are at the mercy of the Chinese people to do what we should have done for ourselves. What does that mean? It means that if Barako community is going to become a successful community, an economically prosperous community, a community that other communities would look at and envy and want to be like, we must pay attention to the human capital. We must pay attention to the people, to the sons and daughters of Barako community. So that means that as a leadership, we must, above everything else, focus on building the people. We must focus on educating the people, because humans are the greatest resources in the world. If you have crude oil, your crude oil will not refine itself. It is people that will refine it. If you have gold, your gold will not refine itself. It is people that will refine it. Anything you want to do, you need people. And so people are the greatest assets that you have. And that is why this topic is important. Building human capacity. And for us to build human capacity, we need to develop the strengths and the skills of our people. We need to educate our people. We need to organize programs that will make our people more knowledgeable, more intelligent, and more skillful. So the question is, to build human capacity, we see from the side.
If you are not speaking, please mute your phone. Your noise is distracting. You can mute and do things in your house, please. Sorry.
Okay, I hope everybody can hear me very well.
Yes.
So, thank you. So from this picture, you would see people, you would see skills, and you would see roles. Now, I already said that the greatest of all assets, of all resources, are the people. Now, these people must be educated. They must be taught how to develop skills. And when they have these skills, then they can play a role in the community in developing and building that community. So our goal is to train our sons and daughters and the citizens and the indigenes of our community to have skills in every sphere of life. That means we need to educate our people to have skills in medicine, skills in engineering, skills in information technology, skills in accounting, and in all spheres of life, so that when our nation is looking for the best doctor in Nigeria, they could say, go to Barako community, you will find the best doctors there. When we have built our people, their capacity, they will become so good that when we are looking for the best engineers in the country, they will say, go to Barako community, you will find the best engineers there. Or we are looking for the best accountants, go to Barako community, you will find them there. So when we build human capacity, inventions and innovations will proceed from our community. And that is the goal of leadership. As a leader, your goal is to raise other people. And thank God for this program. This is the first step already, to raise people. And what we are doing right now is human capacity development. That's what we're doing now. Only that we need to continue to do things like this, because this is all it takes to build human capacity, to educate people, to teach them, to take their potentials and grow it and expand it. To take the little thing that they know and expand it and build capacity in them. So people, when they develop skills, they now become good enough to play roles, different roles in the community, that will now build that community and make that community the envy of other communities. Now, Linda Fisher said, at best, leadership development is not an event. It's a capacity building endeavor. So leadership development is not an event. It is a capacity building endeavor. It's a process of human growth and development. So our goal is to make sure that every citizen of Barako community grows and develops, not just physically, but intellectually. In every sphere of life, people are building capacity. Now, from this slide, you would see what make up human capital development or human capacity development. What does it entail? It entails coaching. It entails teaching. It entails training, like we are doing right now. And the goal of coaching, teaching, and training is to increase the intellectual capacity of the people, is to increase the skills of the people, is to increase the know-how of the people, so that when we look at our community, we would find that everybody in the community has one skill or the other, and not just an ordinary skill, but a professional skill. And I want to say this: when the people of a community are able to develop themselves and build capacity, they have the solution to all the problems that is in that community. I'm going to repeat that again. When the people of a community build themselves, acquire knowledge and skills and intellect, there will be no problem in that community that cannot be solved. Why? Because the people that will solve the problems have already gotten the capacity to do so. But when we fail to invest in the people, when we fail to build the people, to build capacity in the people, we would never be able to solve the problems that face us or that face our community. So the goal of human capital development is to raise people who are problem solvers, is to raise people who are solution providers. So we say we want to build the largest airports in Nigeria, in Barako community. We don't need to go and look for Chinese people to do it for us. Sons and daughters of Barako community will do it by themselves. Why? Because they have been taught how to do it. They have groomed themselves. They have gotten the knowledge and the capacity to do so. So you don't need anybody to help you. So this is a very important point. I will say it for the third time. When you build capacity in people, you don't need any help from anywhere. Those people will solve the problems that are facing the community. So human capital development involves coaching, teaching, training, skill acquisition, experience, learning, and development. So as I'm talking right now, the leadership of the community perhaps will be thinking, how can we get our people to develop skills? How can we get our people to get knowledge in different fields of life? Yes, maybe there is no vocational school or technical school in Barako community. As I'm talking right now, the leadership is thinking maybe we need to build, a technical university in Barako community so that our sons and daughters will gain capacity in the technical aspects. Or maybe we need to build a medical university in Barako community. No, so the idea is to develop people and build them, give them capacity. Maybe the next inventors that will shake the world would come from Barako community if we give them the right training and the right coaching. So the goal, what I'm saying is that above everything else, we must learn to invest in the people, because the people make up the community. And when the people have been invested in, they now develop the capacity to, create solutions, to start up their own industries, to start up their own schools and universities, to start up their own workshop and their own laboratory when they have been built and when they have been developed. And now this human capital development is not only the responsibility of the leadership, but it is the responsibility of every son and daughter of the community to look for ways to develop themselves. Although the bulk of the responsibility is on leadership, but as individuals, you must look for ways to develop yourself. Look for teachings, coaching, conferences, attend, read books, add value to yourself on a daily basis. When you do that, you become a sought after personality. People will begin to look for you. Why? Because you have developed yourself. Your mind is developed. You have solution to the problems, of the community. Good. Now, in this next slide, you would see that we have capacity, development, deployment, and know-how. So capacity, how do you build capacity? I already said the level of formal education of younger and older generation as a result of past education investments. So what does that mean? If we must build capacity in our people, we must invest in their education. You might not build schools, for example, in Barako community, but you can send some of your sons and daughters to go to better countries to gain knowledge and come back to Barako community and invest that knowledge in Barako community. To put some of them on scholarship to go abroad and learn the best, IT skills, the best medical skills, the best engineering skills. What have you done? You have invested in their education. I want to invest in their education. By the time they are coming back to Barako community, they are bringing the knowledge that they have gotten abroad to develop the community. Imagine, for example, that we have 100 sons and daughters or 200 sons and daughters, from Barako community being sent to the United States or to the UK to go and study medicine When they come back, just imagine what they would do in Barako community. They will come together, form an association, and build the best hospital in Nigeria in Barako community. Why? Because you have built capacity in them. So human capital development involves capacity building, and the most important way to build capacity in people is to educate them. Either you build schools for them. If you cannot build schools, you sponsor them somewhere where they can go and get the knowledge and bring that knowledge back to solve the problems that exist in Barako community. Then again, you will see development, formal education of the next generation, the workforce, and the continued upskilling and reskilling of the current workforce. So to develop people, they already have some skills. You only need to upskill that skill. They need to improve on that skill by attending workshops and trainings, schools, just to improve them. And you are preparing them for the next generation. We know that the future of the world is information technology. So if we want to build people and add capacity to them, we should be looking at investing in information technology for the Barako community citizens. We should be taking the young people in primary school and secondary school and be thinking of how we can teach them information technology. If you can do that in Barako community, I bet you in the next 5-10 years, Barako community will become information technology hub of Nigeria. Everybody will be coming to Barako community to learn about information technology. Why? Because capacity has been built in them. So when you build capacity in them, they go all the way to bring development to that community. Deployment, skills application, and accumulation among the adult population. Now, in capacity building, you are not only focusing on the younger generation. Of course, we know they are the leaders of tomorrow. But what about the adults who did not have the opportunity to have an education? Maybe for one reason or the other, they couldn't go to school, but now they are adults and they are struggling to survive, or some of them cannot even read and write. To build capacity in them, you can, start up an adult education center in Barako community. Let every person in Barako community who cannot read and write attend such, maybe evening school for the adult people. You could teach the women, those that don't know how to sew, tailoring. You could teach, people computer, anything at all that you can use to add value to the citizens and the indigenous of Barako community would be counted as human capital development. And when that happens, people will no longer be dependent on the leadership or on the government for anything. Why? Because they now have the skills that are needed to generate income for themselves. And one of the reasons why we have a high unemployment rate in our country is because our government has not done so much in investing in the people. When you don't invest in the people, they would go to school. Some of them will go to school. They will have certificates, but they don't have skills. And when you don't have skills, nobody wants to employ you. So that is why human capital development involves bringing skills and teaching the people new skills that they didn't have before. And such skills can be converted to economic advantage. When everybody in Barako community has one skill, one handwork that they are doing, that is bringing them finances, poverty problem has been solved already. You don't need anybody to give you money because you have developed yourself, you have the skill. So what you do is that you give your skills in exchange for money. But when people are not developed, they will be depending on other people to give them some, urgent 2,000 naira, and all of that. But when you develop people, they are able to exchange their skills for economic advantage. And what that means is that development is coming to Barako community. The people now have capacity. They can invent anything they want to invent. They can build their own hospitals and their own roads by themselves without bringing people from abroad to do it for them. But all this is possible thanks to human capacity development. So the whole idea is to raise people from the level they are now to a higher level of intelligence, to a higher level of know-how, and to develop new skills that can help them, not only solve their personal problems, but to solve community problems. Now, but for you to be able to actually build capacity, you need one of the greatest resources that is called time. Remember that this topic is time conversion and human capacity development. Everything I have just said about building capacity cannot happen if people do not understand what time is. I'm going to repeat that. Everything I have said, the coaching, the training, the capacity building, all of that will not be possible if people don't understand time. But you will say, what is time? We understand time. Okay, let's see if you understand time. The greatest resource after human resource, the greatest resource after human resource is the resource of time. Time is the greatest resource that we have as human beings. And why did I say time is the greatest resource? It is because everything that exists, everything else that you see, comes out of time. So time is the resource from which everything is produced. I have a phone here. You see this phone here? This phone was produced because of time. Without time, this phone would not have been produced. What do I mean by that? I mean that the people who produced this phone, they took time to study how to make the phone. The people who made this phone took time to actually make the phone. The process of making the phone took time also. The jacket I'm wearing, somebody took time to learn how to make it. The computer you are using, somebody took time to learn, to study, maybe 4 years at the university or 6 years at the university, just to learn how to produce the computer. So when you go to the university and you spend 4 years or 5 years or 6 years, what you are doing is that you are investing time to learn how to produce something. If I have 2 people, one of them went to the university and spent 4 years learning how to produce computers, while the other person is at home watching Man U and Chelsea match every day for 4 years without going to school. After 4 years, one of them has become an inventor or a producer of computer. How? Because he invested 4 years of his time to learn how to do it. So it means that this person had built capacity. How did he build capacity? By understanding what time is and investing that time. But it is unfortunate that a lot of people, even though they wear wristwatch and they have a wall clock, they do not know the importance of time. And my goal today is to make everybody listening to me today to understand how important time is. Because when you understand what time is, you now know how to use that time judiciously to build capacity. There will be no capacity development in people if they don't understand time. Now, what is time? And why is this time important? Before I give you the definition of time, I want to say that if a nation or a community has all the natural resources in the world and yet fails to understand the importance of time, that nation will remain a backward nation, an economically recessed nation, a poverty-stricken nation or community, just because they don't understand time. They have all the natural resources. They have gold, they have crude oil, they have aluminum, they have everything. But if they don't understand time, they will live as if they don't have anything at all. Even nations that don't have any natural resources will be more developed than such a nation that does not understand the value of time. Why am I saying that? Because I said that everything you see existing today comes out of time. The reason why we would go and bring Chinese people to construct our railways for us is because the Chinese have invested time to learn how to construct railways. But we have not invested time to learn how to do it. So what do? We need to depend on the people who have invested time to learn how to do it for us. We have crude oil, but we cannot refine it. Why? Because we have not invested time to learn how to do it. Or we have not invested time to build the infrastructure that is needed to do it. And so what do? We need to depend on America because they have invested time to learn how to do it. So every citizen of Barako community must understand the importance of time. Time is so important that when you fail to understand the value of time, you will end up wasting that time. So what is time? Time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in the past, present, and future regarded as a whole. Now pay attention to this. Indefinite continued progress. So what does that mean? It means that time progresses indefinitely. Time does not regress. Time doesn't go backward. Time keeps progressing. And if time keeps progressing, it means that you and I do not have the ability to stop time from progressing. But I just told you that time is the greatest resources that we have. So if time is the greatest resources and time is passing by, time is moving indefinitely, what do we do to this time to make sure that we use this time productively? Now look at this. Look at this picture. This picture, this was a drawing, a painting that was done by a Spanish artist called Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali drew this, and this is called the melting clocks. If you look at this clock, you will see that they are melting. What does that tell you? That tells you that time melts away. It means that time is not rigid. Time is not standing still. Time is melting away. Time is passing by. Now, if time is passing by, what should I do with the time so that I can get value out of that time? Now, that is what I want to tell you about today in the next few minutes. Now, if you look at this, Benjamin Franklin said something. He said, "Dost thou love life? Then do not squander time, for this is the stuff that life is made of." If you love life, don't squander time. Why? Because life is made up of time. What does that mean? It means that time is as important as life itself. I want to repeat that. Time is as important as life itself. Without time, there is no life. Time is equal to life in importance. So it means that if you are protecting your life, you are guarding your life, you must also guard your time and protect your time also. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you should never allow your time to get wasted. Just the way you guard your life, you must guard your time like that, because human capital development is only possible when we use time judiciously, when we use time to educate people, when we use time to teach people skills, when we use time to learn technological know-how, then we have human capital development. So that means that time is one of the greatest resources. Unfortunately, time is not rigid. And because time is not rigid, the only thing I need to do is to make sure that I do something with that time before it passes by. Time will always pass by, but you must do something with it, otherwise it is gone. And once that time is gone, you cannot get it back. If we give birth to a new community today, community A and community B, and community A uses the first 5 years of its existence to invest time and to build capacity in the people. Invest 5 years of time to build capacity in the people. And community B did nothing with time. Community B just allowed time to pass by. After 5 years, when you enter community A and community B, the difference will be so clear. Why? Because community A has used time, 5 years, to build capacity, while community B did nothing with time. Community B allowed that 5 years to just waste like that. And I think that with what we have started doing, if we focus on investing time and using time judiciously in Barako community, if we make every citizen of Barako community to understand the importance of time, and they use that time judiciously to build capacity, it will not be long. In the next 5 years, the difference between Barako community and the other communities will be so clear. It will be like black and white. Why? Because when you understand the value of time, you are able to take that time and use it to produce something. So from this picture, you see that this guy is trying to hold the time, to stop the time from moving. But I said that you cannot stop time from moving. You can hold it. Time progresses indefinitely. So what should you do if time progresses indefinitely? That is the question that we need to answer. So the first thing you must know about time is that time must be converted into products. If you have not been paying attention before, I want to plead with you to pay attention to this one. The first and the general principle of time is that time must be converted into products. I have said that time passes by. You can't hold it, but you can convert it. You cannot hold it, but you can convert it. So how do you convert it? You convert time into products by using that time, that passing 1 hour, or that passing 2 hours, or that passing 3 hours, or that passing 5 months. You use that time to build capacity. You use it to learn new skills. You use it to study, to research. What you have done is that at the end of the day, you have converted that time into product. What is the product? At the end of your research, or at the end of your study, or at the end of your skill acquisition program, you would have gotten a product, which is the new knowledge that you have, the new skill that you have now. How did you do it? Because you converted that 5 years into a product, which is increased knowledge, increased know-how, skill. That is now the product of your time. So time must be converted into products. So I want to ask you quickly, what do you do with your time? How have you been using your time as an individual and as a community? There are 3 things that people do with time. They waste it, some spend it, and some invest it. But if you want to build capacity in people, or you want to build capacity in yourself, you must learn never to waste time. You must learn not to spend time only, but you must learn to invest time. So 3 things people do: they waste time, they spend time, they invest time. Any time that passes by and you didn't learn anything, you did not build any capacity, you just allow 1 hour pass by, or 30 hours, just 30 minutes pass by like this. What you have done, you have wasted that time. So time is wasted when it is not used to add capacity, or to add knowledge, or to learn something new, or to study something. That time is a wasted time. So if I just sit outside and I'm counting the number of cars that are passing in front of my house, and I sit there for 1 hour or 2 hours, at the end of 2 hours, I would have not added any value to my life. I would have only just counted cars and seen how beautiful the cars are, but I've not added any value. But if I take that 2 hours and I go to the laboratory and I begin to do research, or begin to conduct an experiment, or I go to the library and I begin to study, to read, about how to cure a certain disease or about how to invent, something in my community. What I have done, I have invested time. But people do not understand that they are wasting time when they just sit idle and they're doing nothing with time. Or some people are just watching some comedy and are just laughing with their time. But there is no product, there is nothing tangible, no capacity is added, no new knowledge, no new skill. That time is gone. It's a wasted time. So when you waste your time, you get nothing. You get no product from it. You will just realize that you are just growing old, but you have not learned anything new. So that is why you must not waste time. So my message to you today is, if you want to build capacity, you must stop wasting time. Instead of wasting your time on things that add no value to you, use that time to do something that is productive. Use that time to build capacity in yourself, because you cannot build capacity in people if they keep wasting time. So you must make sure that you do not waste your time. Now, Charles Darwin said, a man who dares to waste 1 hour of time, just 1 hour of time, has not discovered the value of life. If you waste 1 hour of time, you have not discovered the value of life. It means that when you just sit down and you are watching maybe African magic and you're just laughing, you're just enjoying yourself, but you have not learned anything new. If you didn't learn anything from that movie, that time is gone. It's a wasted time. If you didn't learn anything from, anything you do, you did not add any value to yourself, that time is a wasted time. And a man who dares to waste 1 hour, if you waste just 1 hour of time, Charles Darwin said, I should tell you that you have not discovered the value of life. Because life, as I said, is as important as time. So do not waste your time on things that are of no value. If every young person, every adult in Barako community can understand that to waste 1 hour of time is a crime, it is a sin to waste 1 hour of time, according to Charles Darwin, then we will now look at how can I take this 1 hour? What can I do with it? Maybe instead of just watching this comedy, I can use this 1 hour to read a book. I can solve mathematics. I can read my science textbook. I can read my medical textbook. I can go to the library. I can go to the laboratory. I can study. So that 1 hour is so important that when you keep adding 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour, you keep wasting 1 hour, wasting 1 hour, wasting 1 hour, you will find out that by the time you get to 70 years, 80 years, you have wasted your entire life and you have not achieved anything. You have not produced anything. You have not invented anything. You didn't build capacity. So for you to build capacity, you must stop wasting time, because time is the greatest resources that we have. And everybody has it equally. Whether you are Black, you are white, you are in Africa, you are in Asia, anywhere you are, we all have 24 hours of time. And God was gracious enough to have given all of us equal time, 24 hours. So what you do with your 24 hours will determine whether you build capacity or not. If you play with your 24 hours, you waste it, you will never grow, you will never learn anything. And once you don't learn anything, you become a liability in the future. You'll be depending on other people to help you, to give you some money and all of that. But when you build capacity in yourself, you use your time judiciously to invest in yourself, you become a knowledgeable person, you become a sought-after personality, and you become a solution provider. What will you get when you waste your time? 9 things you will get when you waste your time. 1, when you waste your time, you get vanity, nothing, emptiness. That is what you get when you waste your time. So when you waste your time, you have no product to show for it. It is emptiness, it is vanity that you get when you waste your time. Number 2, when you waste your time, you don't have any products. You don't have any invention. How can you invent something when you have not invested time to learn how to invent something? No, you cannot invent anything. And that is the reason why, if you look at our country, we hardly produce anything. We hardly invent anything. We are buying everything from China. Why? Because we have not invested our time to learn how to produce, to learn how to invent things. We would rather just be watching Big Brother Naija, or just be watching Man U and Chelsea or African Magic. We don't produce anything. because we don't know how to use time to build capacity. Number three, if you fail to use your time judiciously, if you waste your time, the third reward that you will get is that there will be no impact on the society. Your community will become underdeveloped because you have not built capacity. Are you saying something? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I moved myself. Please, can we pause for 1 second and take a break? Because
sure.
Their data went out and they are trying to reload.
Sure.
Yes. So just give me 1 second. Let me see.
Okay.
I hope they will have let me know.
Can I use this time to ask question, please?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to say that thank you very much for this, for delivering such a powerful and educational speech. It is quite relevant for this progression of Barako community. And I appreciate your lesson.
Thank you.
My question is, how can community organizations partner together to create human capital development incentives? Or should human capital development begin only in families?
Okay, good, beautiful question. So when I was speaking earlier,
so that, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good. When I was speaking earlier, I said that human capital development is in two ways. One, the responsibility is on leadership. So the leadership of the community can come together and partner to build capacity in their indigents. And on a personal level, that is at the family level now, parents have a responsibility to make sure that their children get the right training and the right coaching and the right education, right from primary school level down to university. So the onus is on the parents to do that at the family level. But as a community, because I understand that all families might not have equal means, because all fingers are not equal. And because all fingers are not equal, some families might not be able to build capacity in their children because maybe they don't have the resources to do that. And that is where the community, the leadership of the community now has to come together and partner with probably other communities or other associations to put up programs just like this program now, to set up workshops. You could just invite somebody, for example, to Barako community, the leadership, I mean. The leadership can bring somebody to Barako community. You could just buy maybe 10 or 20 computers. If you have a town hall in your community, just buy 20 computers there. Invite somebody who is an IT specialist to come to Barako community and give a 1 month training every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday. They go to that place. The youth of the community, they put them in batches. Since we have only 20 computers, let them come and learn from that specialist, IT specialist who is teaching them. But this is at the community level. The leadership of the community can do something like that. So when the first batch finish learning, another batch comes. So when you do that every Saturday or maybe every Sunday evening, you would realize that at the community level, you are building capacity in the people. So even parents or families that don't have the means, enough money to build capacity in their children, will now benefit from the one that the community, the leadership of the community is organizing for that community. I don't know if I answered your question.
Yeah, well said. Well said. In fact, this is a great professional development. So I think I believe in your speech, because if we start training and building skills and capacity in our people, we are not going to buy others from outside.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. If any other person has a question, maybe we can take it now. Yeah.
Yeah, if you are mute and you want to ask question, just unmute yourself and then ask. And then when you're done, you mute. Just press the mic button. The mic button is mute or unmute.
I want to also thank our daughter who just asked the last question. The speaker has actually enlightened us this evening. I'm particularly impressed of the fact that if we must build capacity in the people, we must invest in their education. I think that's the sentence that underlines everything we are saying here. Capacity building appears to be starting from proper education to the people so that they can do what they do. I thank the speaker very much. And I thank our daughter for asking a very relevant question because I was also thinking about what is going to be the is capacity building going to be something by individuals or can be done by the community as a whole or can be done by a group of people. And I've seen that while individuals will need to develop their capacity, the community will also need to develop the community capacity-wise. And also any group of people can come together to build capacity for the community. I thank everybody for very, very good listening and very good presentation and very good we are doing here. This is one in its kind. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Uncle.
I have something to say.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Everyone.
How do I unmute myself?
Thank you, sister.
Go ahead, Comfort.
No, I want to say something.
I'm hearing you. Go ahead, we are hearing you.
I'm the happiest woman today to witness the first Barako meeting.
Yes.
And I want to say you have been blessed to bless others, and you have been trained to train. You train the trainer. When very few of us were able to connect and listen to this powerful lecture. And I want to say that it's the first day, and subsequently it's wonderful to be better. But the most important thing is everybody should learn that we should train ourselves. Human capacity training, human development. It has been wonderful. I want to thank Dr. Clement on behalf of the women of Barako. Definitely, in the next 5 years, Barako will not be level after this training. I am happy. Thank God, and I want to say like Samuel that my eyes, my Samuel said that when the Lord Jesus was dedicated in his church. So I am happy. I suspended everything today to be part of this. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Dr. Clement, I guess you might have to continue since it's recorded. They will join us, or they will get the video.
Okay.
So please, if you are not talking, mute your phone.
Okay, good. So
was my phone muted?
Yeah, I will mute it, but anytime you want to talk, unmute yourself. I will mute it now. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much for those questions. You know, it shows me that you are following the lecture. You know, it's one thing to teach, it's another thing for people to follow what you're saying. So the fact that you asked those questions is the proof that you were following and that you understood what we have said so far. Now, I'm going to address one of the questions about if capital development is an individual thing or if it's a community thing. I have already said that the community has a role to play and the individual themselves have a role to play. For example, when it has to do with time conversion or time management, the community cannot come to your house to check if you are wasting time or if you are investing time. So that is your own responsibility, to use your time judiciously to make sure that you don't waste it. Now we stop at number 4. If you waste time, if any nation or any community waste time, what will happen to that community and that nation is economic recession and poverty. And the reasons are not far-fetched. When people are not investing time to learn skills, it means that they don't have the know-how to produce anything. There are no economic activities in such nation where people waste time. And because you are not producing anything, what will be the result is economic recession. So that is why when you saw that Nigeria had economic recession, about 2 or 3 recessions within 4 years or within 6 years, the reason is not far-fetched. It is because we are not a producing nation. We import almost everything that we use. And why? Because we did not invest our time to build capacity. And when you waste your time doing irrelevant things, at the end of the day, you have no economic advantage. You have no skills. And when you have no skills, there is nothing for which money can be exchanged. Because money comes to you when you deliver a service or you sell a product. But when you have not learned how to invest time to build products and to build skills, what happens is poverty and economic recession. And then again, number 5, you will have little or no net worth if you waste time. If you check the list of the richest people in the world, the likes of the Jeff Bezos and the Bill Gates and the Mark Zuckerbergs, if you check their net worth, it runs in billions. Why did they get those billions? Is it because money fell from heaven to them? No. Is it because God loved them so much and blessed them with money? No. Those guys, they have a high net worth because they did not waste their time. They understood how to invest time, to learn and to invent products. And those products that they invented now make them billionaires. And so when you check their net worth, you see somebody, having more than 80 billion, 120 billion. Why? It is not magic. It is not miracle. It is because they invested their time. They did not waste it. But when you waste time, you have little or no net worth. Number 6, when the people of a nation or any community waste their time, one of the rewards of wasting time would be increase in crime rates. Increase in crime rates. When people are not actively engaged in productive activities, when people are not using their time productively, at the end of the day, number 1, they become poor, they become jobless, and when they are jobless and they are poor, the next thing is to go into crime. And that is why you can understand now why the crime rate in our country is that high, because we have not invested in human capacity. We have not built people. Anybody, just imagine, for example, if you build people, you build capacity, and then you teach them how to use their time to build capacity, what you will have, all your sons and daughters will be engineers, doctors, accountants, bankers. So imagine if all the young people in Barako community have understood the value of time, and all of them have built capacity in themselves, and now we have doctors, engineers everywhere. Everybody has some specialized skills. Who is going to become an armed robber? Nobody. Nobody, because they have built skills in themselves. They have skills that give them the money that they need. So why should they go into crime? There will be no need to go into crime. So when we invest in the people will become civilized, they will become developed in their mind, and they have the economic power to take care of themselves. So there will be no need to go into crime. There will be no need for Yahoo, or there will be no need for armed robbery. There will be no need for it. But when a community fails to teach the people how to use their time, and then the people eventually just waste time, what will happen is that there will be increase in crime rates because these people have not developed themselves. And when they want to survive, the only way to survive is to go and steal or to do some evil things to survive. But when you build capacity in them, just imagine now that I'm a medical doctor. I cannot leave my hospital and go and do armed robbery. It's not possible. Why? Because I have built capacity in myself. If you are a professor, you cannot leave your school and go and commit crime. No. Why are you a professor? Because you have invested time to build capacity in yourself in a specific field. If you are an engineer, the same thing. So when people are actively engaged by the proper use of time and they build capacity in themselves, what happens is that crime rates will decrease. And again, number 7, if you don't understand the value of time, what will happen is that by the time you live 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, and you die from this world, nobody will remember you. You will have no legacy to keep for generations to come. Why? Because while you were alive, you did not produce anything, you did not invent anything, you did not, develop your community in any way because you wasted your time. You have nothing to leave for generations to come. So you have no legacy. But when you use your time wisely, you will have products, you will have inventions, that will outlive you. Even when you die, your product will still be alive. That is why there is a popular preacher that was called Dr. Miles Monroe. Dr. Miles Monroe died a few years ago, but his books, his messages, his teachings, his training are still blessing people today, even though he's dead. Why? Because he invested his time to build capacity to be able to deliver a product to his world. So every native or every citizen of Barako community should be thinking, what legacy will I leave behind when I eventually leave this world? And the only way to have a lasting legacy for people to remember you forever when you are dead is when you are able to use your time judiciously to build yourself and build your community. Invent, produce, just do something that the world will remember when you are gone. And you can only do that when you don't waste your time, when you understand time and when you use your time judiciously. Number 8, unrealized goals. People set goals, but they don't achieve their goals. Why? Because they waste time. You say, okay, today I want to read this book. And then today comes and you say, let me just watch movie first. I will read the book later. And then tomorrow comes and you say, let me just watch this movie or watch this football match. I will read the book later. At the end of the day, your goals will not be realized because you are wasting your time. So the only way to realize goals and to achieve your goals and to fulfill your goals is when you understand the value of time and you use it judiciously. Like I said before, unemployment will be a product of a time that is wasted. Now, people also spend time. Some people waste time. When you waste time, you don't get any product for your time. That time is gone, it's wasted, completely wasted. But when you spend time, you get a little compensation, a little product for your time. Maybe you could get some maybe salary, or you could get something little for your time. So when you spend time, you get something small. When you waste time, you don't get anything. That time is just gone. That time is wasted, completely wasted. But when you spend time, you get something. Maybe you go to work every day. At the end of the month, you get a salary. So you are spending time at work. And at the end of the month, they pay you salary. So why are they paying you salary? They are paying you salary for the time that you spend at the office or working for your boss. So when you go to work, that is spending time. You are spending time at work. At the end of the month, your boss now pays you. That is why in some countries, they pay per hour, $20 per hour, minimum wage, or $10 per hour minimum wage. So you see, $10 per hour. So when the time you spend working at the office, they pay you for it, right? So when you spend time, you get something, you get money, or maybe you get some certificates. Also, when you spend your time, maybe you go to school, at the end of school, you get a certificate. That is spending time. But there is something greater than spending time. Or before that, when you spend your time, the reward will be salary. You get salary, like I said. You have cars and houses when you spend time because you get some salary. You can buy a house, you can buy a car, You go to school, you get certificates when you spend your time, but you might not really make any tangible impact in society. That is why you will see that there are a lot of people who went to school, who went to university, but they don't make any impact on the society. Why? Because while they were in school, they were just spending time. They were not investing time. All of us can graduate from the same university, but only one person will make an impact on the society based on what you learned from school. But the rest just spent time going to school every day and coming back. They did not really learn anything. So such kind of people, even though they have cars, they have salary, they have houses, but they don't have any tangible impact on their community. And most times they don't feel fulfilled, they don't feel satisfied. Why? Because they are even doing a kind of job that they don't like. So what are they doing? They have to go to work every day because they need salary. So they don't really like what they are doing, but they just go so that they can survive. So that is when you spend time, you don't really feel fulfilled, you don't feel satisfied, you don't have any real products, you just get old, and when you get old, you are retired. The company will retire you after using you for maybe 40 years or 30 years, they'll retire you, and that is all. You will have no legacy to leave behind when you spend time. Now, spending time is good. Wasting time is completely useless. Spending time is good, but there is something better than spending time. And that is what we call investing time. Waste time, spend time, invest time. Now, what is investing time? When you invest your time, you make sure that every minute, every hour of your life is converted into products. Every minute, every hour of your time is converted into some kind of product. You are making sure that you are using that 1 minute, that 1 hour, that 2 hours, you are using it judiciously. Then you are investing your time. Now, when you invest your time, you use that time to fulfill your purpose. Now, this is the difference. When you spend your time, you might not necessarily be fulfilling your purpose. You might just be going to school because everybody else is going to school. But when you invest your time, you are investing that time in your purpose. You know the reason why you were created. You know why you exist. You use your time to fulfill that reason, that purpose for which you were born. That is investment of time. So when you invest time, you use it to fulfill your purpose. You are doing what you were born to do. You are not doing what you are doing just because you need salary at the end of the month. No. So people who spend time, they work for salary. But people who invest time, they work for their purpose, for the reason why they were born. And they don't even, they are not so much concerned about the money that they will get, the salary, because the goal is not the paper, it's not the money. The goal is to bring community development. The goal is to impact people in the world. Why? Because our life's purposes involve helping other people and, developing communities and making the world a better place. So when you invest your time, you are investing it in something that is the reason or the purpose for which you were born. So, for example, imagine that you discovered that you were born to be, maybe you were discovered to be a medical doctor, or you were born to be a footballer. Yeah, you were born to be an international footballer. Now, if you spend 5 hours every day watching movies, or you spend 5 hours going to some meetings that are not related to the football that you were born to do, that is not investment of time in your purpose, because you have identified that your purpose is to be an international footballer. So what do? You make sure that you use your time, more of your time, for training. Go to the field and train, because that is the reason you were born. Or you were born to be a doctor. You will not spend more time at the field playing football when you should be in the medical university learning. So when you discover your purpose, invest more of your time on that thing, that reason why you were born. The reason is that no matter what you achieve in this life, if you don't fulfill your purpose, the reason why you were born, you have failed. If you don't fulfill the reason why you were born, you have failed. So it means that we must invest more in the reason or the purpose of our lives. And the question now is, how do I know my purpose? Maybe that will be a question for another conference some other time. But do everything to find out the reason why you were born and make sure you give more of your time to do that thing, because that is the essence of your life. To invest your time, to add value to other people, to add value to yourself. So to invest time is to use it for human capital development. What we are doing now, we are investing time. We are learning, how to become better people. Reward of investing time. Number one, you have increased knowledge when you invest your time, because you have studied, you have worked hard. You get increased knowledge. You are now able to produce new products and inventions. So when you have invested your time, you don't need the Chinese people, you don't need Americans. You will do everything by yourself in your community there. You solve all the problems in your community because you have learned how to do it, because you have invested time to learn how to do it. And then when you invest your time, there will be societal and community development. That is why if Barako community will focus on investing time and building capacity in the people in the next 5 years, I believe that everybody would want to come to Barako community to ask the secrets of the development, the speed at which that community would develop. Everybody will want to know how you did it. Why? Because when you invest time to build capacity, naturally there will be societal and community development. And like I said before, when people have invested time to learn skills and to learn trade, what happens is that there will be economic growth and your GDP will increase also. So investing time, what does it do? It increases your earning potential. You are able to earn more when you have invested your time in learning skills. If I have two tailors, one of the tailors, every day he sews clothes for just 2 hours, only 2 hours. He sews clothes for 2 hours, and then he says he's tired, he has clothes for the day. And then you have another tailor who sews clothes for 8 hours every day. Which of them will be more skillful? After some years, the one who invested 8 hours sewing clothes every day will become more skillful. Now, when that guy becomes more skillful, the kind of suit or jacket he will make will be far better than the one that the other guy makes. And if that guy says, my suit is 50,000 naira, people will pay for it. Why? Because he has increased his potential to earn more. How did he do that? By investing more time, learning how to sew, learning tailoring, practicing tailoring. So the more time you invest, learning your skills and improving your skills, what you are doing is that you are increasing your earning potential. You now earn more than another person who has not invested in themselves to learn how to do it. And then number 6, there will be a decrease in crime rates when people invest in themselves and build capacity, because everybody will be gainfully employed and they will be engaged. When you invest your time, you create legacies. When you invest your time, you create legacies that will last. 1 minute, my kids are here now.
All right.
So when you invest your time, what happens is that you create legacy, because you will be able to invent and produce products that will outlive you. That even when you are gone, everybody will still see your products and they will say, oh, it was this man that created this thing. So when you invest your time, you don't actually die. I want to repeat this. When you invest your time, you don't die, you live on. Why do you live on? Because even though your body disappears from this earth, you're gone, but people still have your product. They still see your products. You are still impacting people, even though you are gone. When I look at the electric bulb here, I see Thomas Edison. Even though Thomas Edison is long gone, but Thomas Edison is still impacting me today because I'm using the electric bulb. When Bill Gates dies tomorrow, Bill Gates will still be impacting me from his grave because I'm using his computer in Microsoft. When Mark Zuckerberg dies tomorrow, he will still be impacting the world because his Facebook is still there. So when you invest time in yourself, you don't die, you live on. The reason why we can still be reading books, for example, about Plato and Aristotle and those guys, the reason why they still teach their knowledge in school today is because they invested in themselves and they created theories and principles that even after 100, 200 years, people are still learning the knowledge of those guys, even though they are dead many years ago. So when you invest in yourself, you live on, you don't die, because your product will speak. Even when you are gone, people will remember you, because when they hold your product, that is you they are holding. It means you don't die. So when you invest in yourself, use your time judiciously, what happens is that you create legacy and you live almost forever, because people will continue to remember what you have done. And number 8, the only way to fulfill your goals and your dreams is to invest time. It is useless having dreams if you will not invest time to pursue those dreams and to fulfill them. If you like have all the dreams in the world, those dreams will just remain dreams on paper. Those goals will just remain goals on paper. You will never achieve them if you do not invest your time to do what you need to do to bring those dreams and those goals to fruition, to bring them to materialization. So you only fulfill your goals when you invest your time. And like I said, there will be decreased unemployment rates when people learn to invest their time to build capacity, to learn new skills. There will be decreased unemployment rates, and everybody in Barako community will become an employer of labor. So instead of going to look for a job, you now become an employer because you have built capacity in yourself. You have invested in yourself that you don't need to go and be looking for a job somewhere. You will be the one even inviting people from neighboring community. You'll be hiring people from other communities to come and work for you. Why? Because you have invested your time to build something, to create your own company, to create your own product, to become so skillful that now you can even teach other people what you have learned over the years. So I think 1 minute. Okay, give me 1 minute. Yeah, so I think that now we have been able to see what it means to waste time, to spend time, and to invest time. And like I said, the only way for you to build capacity, is to invest time. The only way for you to build capacity is to invest time. If you don't invest time, you cannot build capacity. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Charity, is your hand up? You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, my hand is up anyway.
Okay, right.
I have a short, quick question, which I want to ask Dr. Clement to just.
Was that again?
Sister?
Very, very awesome.